Hey everyone, welcome to Grand Turk. This is our final destination of our Eastern Caribbean cruise with Carnival Mardi Gras. Grand Turk is known for its laid-back vibe. It is the capital of Turks and Caicos and the second most populated island of the Turks and Caicos archipelago. We have just entered the dock's duty-free shopping center. It's air-conditioned. They've got fans blowing as well. And there's so many people here from the ship. They're all shopping for themselves or for their loved ones. You can find anything from beauty products to liquor to clothing. Anything you can find, this is the place to go. You've probably noticed that people are dressed for the beach. There are a couple beaches right outside this establishment. And out of the 3 Eastern Caribbean destinations, Turks and Caicos is probably the hottest. And the sun's rays are no joke. It totally did a number on our skin after our visit. So make sure you have your sunscreen, protective clothing, your shades, a sun hat, anything that you can find to protect yourself because you can get totally sunburnt. And if you're curious, yes, we did reapply our sunscreen, but I think that just wasn't enough. So make sure that you're prepared. We had a couple hours to kill before heading to our excursion, so we decided to head to the beach. There were 2 beaches, and this one in particular was less populated, but this would be perfect for us to lay out, get the vitamin D, and test out the water temps. It was actually really nice. The sandy beaches and turquoise waters aren't necessarily something that we always see in the Pacific Northwest, especially in Washington, so this was quite the treat.
So we're here at the beach at Turks and Caicos, or Grand Turk more specifically. And I was just in the water. The water's super salty, but it's so beautiful. So I'm gonna pan around and have you guys take a look.
There's our ship. So cool. Bunch of people here. This is the less crowded part of the beach. On the other side, there's an insane amount of people. And that was a catamaran that we wanted to get on, but it was sold out. So that looks like fun. A couple hours have finally passed and we're headed to the back of the duty-free shop to pick out our car for the grand tour of the island. So basically, yes, you do have to have a licensed driver, which obviously my husband and I do have licenses, but my husband was a designated driver for this one. And what a relief on this one because the steering wheel was on the right side of the car. The grand tour of the island takes about 2 to 3 hours with some breaks in between. He does talk about the history of the island as well as some famous landmarks there. Now, this isn't the only way to tour the island. You can also take like a group bus, and then there are also golf carts available, but we decided on the Jeep just because we thought that this would be the best way to go with air conditioning, which we later found out was not quite the case.
Is it AC in there?
Shoot, this is so weird.
I know. Give me that towel over real quick.
Oh man.
I gotta say, sitting on the left side and then Bong driving on the right side, it's so weird. But because this is a British territory, we're gonna drive just like Europeans. So this will be interesting. There's Long on the right side, and Ava having the best time of her life.
So basically what happens here is groups of 3 to 4 of us have our own Jeeps, and we follow our tour guide David, who's getting in the car here, and we follow him. He makes stops, we stop with him, and then we all get out and he kind of gives us a rundown of the island and some information. So I wanted to talk about our vehicle for a little bit. Now, we did read the reviews and we're kind of forewarned, but yes, they were a little bit older. The vehicles were about 20 years old or so. And I want to say that they tried to upkeep it as best as possible, but it wasn't at tip-top shape. You can see that the handlebars to the window is manual. Our air conditioning and our radio didn't quite work. And at one point, our car wouldn't start. So the people in our group that were behind us were getting so pissed at us, but it wasn't our fault. I mean, we could not get it to start. Eventually we did, and everybody was fine after that, but that was kind of embarrassing. A third of the way into the tour, we were taken to the souvenir shop where we could do a little shopping, but mostly for bathroom breaks. There wasn't a customer service rep or a sales attendant that we could see, so I have a feeling that nobody really shops in here. But anyway, this is where the museum is located. I don't know if this actual building is the museum, like upstairs, but around the area is the island's sole museum, as well as these vendors that are kind of lining the streets here. So a lot of it is either food trucks or huts, and they're cash only. And the currency in the island, surprisingly, is the US dollar. So we didn't have any issues with having to exchange our money. Want to share some tidbits that we learned on our tour. If you're ever curious and you ever visit the islands, there are 3 languages that are spoken here. Primary is English, if you couldn't tell already, and then the other 2 are Spanish and Creole. Grand Turk is located on the southern end of the Turks and Caicos Islands. There are about 4,500 people living on Grand Turk, and this was originally founded by Bermudian settlers as a site for sea salt production in 1681, some will say about 1500s.
Going on our next tour, and it's going to be super bumpy. And then this isn't the best Jeep. The AC is not quite working, and the wheel seems to be run down. This is my hair after it's hit salt water, and I just don't want to bother with fixing it because I kind of don't care.
We finally made it to the end of the tour, and David has taken us to Governor's Beach. This is located a few miles away from the dock. It was absolutely beautiful. It had white sand, shallow turquoise waters, and we also saw a couple of donkeys roaming the area. Now, these feral donkeys were everywhere. These animals were used to pull salt carts and provide general transport, and also provided a source of meat to the locals. And these animals were kind of left behind, and they've just kind of reproduced, so they're pretty much everywhere. These were basically remnants of the salt days, and it's assumed that the donkeys were used by Bermudians when they came to rake salt seasonally. Just beyond the trees, you'll find Governor's Mansion, aka Waterloo, and it's right next to Governor's Beach. The building was built in 1815 and is one of the most historic buildings on the island. Well, it's time to get back onto the ship. Thank you so much for watching. We are going to have more on Carnival's Mardi Gras in the next coming weeks. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you subscribe, please make sure you hit that notification bell so that you're updated of new videos every week, because I try to upload every Sunday. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.